Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again for Drunkard's Walk. Well, here it is, the final episode of Season 8. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Jaramillo for our artwork. And we hope that you've listened to this whole season, and if you have, that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't had a chance to hear the whole thing, go on back and catch up. And hey, you can catch up all the way back to Season 3 if you'd like to do that. And if you want to go back even farther, join our Patreon. And you can find information about that at our link tree. That's linktr.ee/drunkardswalk. And so that's pretty much it. And I don't know what else to say except, gosh, we really hope that you've enjoyed this. We really enjoyed doing it. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Enjoy the show.
Well, folks, we did it. We've done it. We're through. Kaput finito. This is the last episode of Drunkard's Walk this season. So thank you for joining us. I am one of your co-hosts, Jethro Nolan. And with me, as always, is Mr. Matthew Q. Hartman. Matt, welcome to the final episode ever of Drunkard's Walk Season 8.
Wow. Well, thanks, Jethro. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'll say your pause, your pregnant pause, had me expectant. I thought you were telling me something that I didn't know for a second there. I was getting a little worried, honestly.
That's right.
A little flutter.
I've decided to tell our listener before I told you.
Well,
the
I don't know.
podcast is through.
Hey, sometimes people like to drop a bomb like that. It really gets the ratings up. A lot of people listen because of the tension and the everything that's happening in there. And I mean, some people call it a stunt, but I like to think of it more as a sincere way of just drumming up a little bit of tension. That's it.
Well, I'm nothing if not a whore for numbers. So there's nothing I won't do to drum up a little publicity for I'm the P.T. Barnum of the podcast. I know it. Definitely the case. It's exciting. We've reached the end of season 8 here. This is our final episode of the season, which means we can take a little look back over where we've been so far this season. We can talk a little bit about the pitfalls and the highlights and everything wonderful. And I'm excited about it. I will say, we did find out recently that we were not named the 2023 best podcast by Pittsburgh Magazine, but there is still the possibility, folks, of the City Paper. The Pittsburgh City Paper is doing best of PGH. So if you go on there and nominate us, there's a chance that we'll come back for season 9 and be able to tell you that we're an award-winning podcast. But I don't want to assume anything. So, but go do it. Go give us a little nom and then a little vote if we actually get the nomination. I think that's how it works. I don't even know how that works, Jethro. Do you have any idea? Like, I don't. I think people have to like us in order for those things to happen. So that's we're out.
Oh, drat! I didn't realize that was part of it. So they have to actually enjoy what we're doing and listening to us. Oh, all right. Well, never mind. Don't worry about that.
Dave Foreman can only vote so many times. So
is that right? Oh,
it's true. We can't.
Got a lot of email addresses, though, right? So
we can't put everything on poor Dave's shoulders.
I guess that's true. Well, this has been a delight this season, Jethro. I don't know if you remember, but way back, we released our first one back in April, back before May, before June.
That's how months work, man.
Yeah, and we had some great guests on. This season we had some friends of mine from high school, Mike McBurney and Lane Chadgett were on. My wife was on, and then episode 4 we had on what may be our most famous guests ever. Would you say the Bragg brothers? I mean, that's as high, that's as close as we've gotten to the
the metaphorical son of fame, wouldn't you say?
I mean, with all due respect to the Bragg brothers,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, okay.
I mean that their film was lovely, but
Right.
I don't know that they're household names.
Not at all. But who have we spoken to that's been any closer?
No, nobody. But
well, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're up there. I'm not saying it's like we've talked to I don't know who's famous now. Harry Styles.
There we go.
He's famous, right?
That's a famous name that I recognize.
But they're as close as we've gotten, I think, is what I would say about that.
I would say Dave Foreman appears on television on very local Pittsburgh for.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Dave Foreman.
Do you put television above film?
Rick Seaback.
That's true.
Certainly better known in the Pittsburgh area.
Absolutely. Now he was on our live episode, so that is a little bit different. But I guess you're right. I guess Rick Seaback is going to trump the Bragg brothers. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah, but
I mean the Quantum Leap podcast people.
That's true. That's true. The Quantum Leap podcast people have been on
again. Yeah. So again,
the guys that do Penelope Bourbon,
it's a delight.
They're on there. Yeah. No. Well. Okay. Yeah. So, our closest Hollywood connection. You want to say that? I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to go through this and just talk about the wonderful guests that we had, like your brother and.
I'm grateful that the Bragg brothers came on, but I feel like you're really trying to like sell them as a thing that they aren't, which is
trying to. I didn't say that they were famous. I said it was as close as we could come. They were the most famous that we had. But you're right. Rick trumps them. So I'm wrong.
You might as well be like, they were the closest to the moon that any of the guests, just because they live at a slightly higher elevation.
You've got to use the hyperbole that you've got. And that's all there is to that. I mean, we had Chat GPT on, which is probably the most well-known guest.
Oh, yeah. Chat GPT. By the way, hanging out in the green room with Chat GPT before the podcast, that was incredible. Yeah. A lot of stories from that one.
It was weird. It didn't feel... it felt like a lot of it was being made up to me.
I don't know.
I didn't want to accuse Chat GPT of that at the time, but that's how it felt.
But Chat GPT knows some things about Helena Bonham Carter that are not common knowledge.
So. That is true. We had a couple of your friends on from Michigan.
Yeah.
Well, which was a first for us.
Gary and Emily.
Yeah. And of course some relatives. And then we had on one of our Quantum Leap podcast friends again as well in Christopher DeFilippis.
There you go.
Who is a published author. So there you go. So that's edging onto fame as well, right? In some way or another. In certain circles, I'm sure that Christopher is considered quite famous.
Among the people who've written books about Quantum Leap, Chris is right up there.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. Well, anyway, I guess what I'm trying to get to, Jethro, is that it's been a fantastic season. We broke the 120 barrier.
We finally did.
This will be episode 122 that you're listening to right now of the Quantum Leap podcast. And if you haven't heard the first two seasons, jump on the Patreon, because that's the only place that you can find them. They are behind the paywall because they're totally worth it. They're the ones that are worth the big money.
That's right.
This stuff you can get for free.
We knew exactly what we were doing right out of the gate.
Yeah. Yep. We had no guests, not totally different format, slightly different format. But yeah, it was great. Oh, and the wives were on. Jethro, I can't believe I didn't mention that the wives came on and they beat us at our own game.
I love it.
Which is just, sad for us, but incredible for them. So
Indeed.
Well done on that. Yeah. So here we are in our final episode. And folks, if you haven't listened to the podcast before, welcome. We go from one Wikipedia page to another using only the links, and we start out where we stopped last week, and we usually go to a destination that's given to us by a guest. That's why all these guests we've been talking about. But that's not the case this time, Jethro. Oh no,
it's not.
No. And this time we're going to be headed back to where we started this season, which, if you recall, back in April, we started at Ball Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Ball Lightning was our starting destination. That doesn't even make sense. Our starting point for episode 1 of this season, and it was also our destination back in season 1, episode 6. I think it was one of the we did two in episode 6. Anyway,
if memory serves, was Brian Gray the person who gave us the suggestion of Ball Lightning? Do I remember that correctly, or?
I don't know. That was back before we wrote down who was giving us the topic. So it could have been. I thought Brian Gray's first topic for us was the book test. But I could be wrong about that.
This is back when we got recommendations via social media or a form.
Yes,
so
that's
theoretically,
right.
we could find that out.
Oh wow, yeah. If we went back into our social media, if you went back into folks, check out our our Facebook pages from back in 2020, and you can track down who it was that gave us the suggestion of Ball Lightning. No, you know what? I think it might have been Dave Foreman.
You know what? That's sounding even more right.
I think Ball Lightning was a Dave Foreman suggestion, and potentially his first.
Wow. And I am attributing it to Brian Gray.
Yeah.
What a failure on my part. Sorry, Dave, for erasing you from the history of the podcast.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we've kind of corrected it. Possibly, maybe. A lot of speculation going on here. But anyway, that's where we get our starting points for the seasons as we go back to season 1. We look at the suggestions that we had there, and we use those as our starting points for seasons, and thus our ending points. Because, Jethro, as you can probably explain better than I, a drunkard's walk means you start at one place and you get back to that same place, making random turns. Correct?
That is completely correct.
Good.
Except our random turns are the result of us arguing about every bit of minutia possible on a Wikipedia page.
That is true. And so today, we are going to try to go from Montauk Project, which was our destination last week, to Ball Lightning. And we'll be doing that momentarily here. But before we do, I think we should talk about what we're drinking, because on our drunkard's walk, we use this kind of vague connection to the mathematical principle, but we also occasionally have a little drink as we go. And tonight, Jethro, I am drinking a bourbon that I thought I hadn't had before. I saw it for sale at the liquor store, and I was like, hey, that's cool. A new cask strength bourbon. And so I picked it up, and I was really excited about it. I got this Ezra Brooks cask strength, hand selected by Fine Wine and Good Spirits. So especially for this store. It is from barrel number 9901. The barrel was filled in 2018. It is 126 proof. Yeah, it's a big one. And so I was really excited about it. And then I looked, and last season I had this same bourbon already. So apparently 126 proof makes you forget things.
Indeed, it does.
But it's great. I love it, and it's a good one. How about you? Are you having a new one, or
I'm
an oldie
I'm
but a
having
goodie?
an old standard, and I feel bad that I don't have nearly the variety that you do of.
Don't feel bad about that.
Intoxicating liquors at my disposal, but I'm having a Woodford Reserve. Bourbon.
Yes. Have we ever talked about the Woodford Reserve? Do you just like the traditional, or do you like any of the double oaked, or any of the modifications they make, or are you just like a basic Woodford Reserve type of guy?
I am not nearly that adventurous. I don't know that I've had some of the others.
Okay.
The double oaked is way more expensive, so I'm at what is known as a cheapskate.
Yes.
So
that's fair. I don't love paying a bunch of money for my drinks either.
I'm a cheapskate and a creature of habit, so that's a terrible combination that I just get the same thing over and over again. So.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's why. Hey, look, there's a bourbon I like called Old Tub, which is one of my faves because it costs about $17 a bottle, and but it's still quite tasty. It's not in a plastic bottle either, so that makes it all right. But yeah, no, Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. I always think of our common friend. Remember Mark Bailey, an improviser at the arcade? He was a member of 8-Bit for a while. He was a big fan of the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, and in fact introduced it to me. I'd never had it.
So Mark Bailey is the reason that I drink bourbon today, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, really, my wife and daughter are probably the reasons I drink bourbon.
That's
today.
The reason.
No, but Mark Bailey introduced me to the sweet brown liquors when we knew each other in the early days of arcade many moons ago, and he mentioned that Woodford Reserve was one of his favorites. So that's how I ended up having that be my default.
There you go.
So yeah.
Look at that.
To Mark Bailey.
Hey, to Mark Bailey. There you go.
Refreshing.
That was a bit of a drunkard's walk in itself there, the little full circle type of deal.
Indeed.
All right. So we know what we're drinking. We know where we're going. Jethro, we got to make a prediction. Oh, by the way, speaking of predictions, a couple of weeks ago, we made predictions and you said that the loser was going to have to mow their lawn wearing one of their wives' dresses. Have you done that yet?
No, I believe it was the person who did not win.
Right, exactly. Yes, rather than the loser. That's what I said.
No, the person who did not win.
Okay.
To clear clarification there.
Well, so you did not win.
I believe I am winning the.
No. It was just for that week because you had already won the season.
Oh,
the season was I forget, steaks or bourbon. I know. I think it was just a bourbon this year. I'll go back and listen to make sure that I send you the right thing. But we were for that week because you had already won, and I said, well, I guess it doesn't matter. And you said, well, let's make this week its own separate bet, and it'll be this. And then I won amazingly, and so I was just curious if you had done that yet.
So I have not mowed my lawn because we've got the Canadian wildfire smoke outside.
Oh yeah.
The state of Michigan has forbade me from going outside. So
okay.
I'm sure I'll get around to it, but
okay,
it has not yet happened. So
well, send us a picture so that we can put it on the Instagram, so that everybody can see it because it's not a pics or it didn't happen is what I have to say.
That's fair. I appreciate the rigor and the suspicion that you're bringing to this.
It's not suspicion. It's not suspicion. I just want to see it because what's the point of me winning that if I don't see it?
Mistrust. Yeah. Well, sure. I feel like that's something we shouldn't just give away for free on Instagram. That we should keep it for our premium subscribers on Patreon.
You put that on the Patreon?
Yeah.
All right.
Because maybe who doesn't want to see pictures of me in a dress?
I know. Look, we need to get more. We need to get more traffic to the Instagram. This may do it. This may, or maybe people will unfriend us at that point. I don't know. Is that what it's? That's not what it's called on Instagram. Follow us. They'll unfollow us. They're not going to friend us. What is this? What is this? Friendster?
Yeah.
MySpace.
I mean, Facebook and Instagram are totally different companies, right?
Yeah, totally different.
It's not like there's one company that completely dominates the social media market.
Wouldn't even make sense.
And has different brands to mask their monarchical power.
Oh yeah, look at that. Well, okay, so we are going to make a prediction this time. Are we putting anything on the line this time, or are we just doing this for fun? Is it like are we playing? Is it like when you play poker but you just use chips and not money? Is that what this is going to be?
Oh God, I feel like it should be. There should be money involved.
Oh, actual money. That's it. That seems like getting
actual stakes.
I see.
Involved because I'm always. You got to have some skin in the game. You got to have
sure, absolutely. Any ideas as to what we should wager for this one here?
Gosh,
rather than just a gentleman's bet.
Well, heavens to Betsy, I feel that it is incumbent upon me to allow you to name the stakes, since I think referenced The Simpsons with our last bet.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. How about I don't want to do anything too super serious here. How about the winner or I'm sorry, the person who does not win or sometimes called the loser of this particular one has to suggest some form of media, be it a podcast or a movie or a book or something along those lines, for the other person, give them a recommendation
that they have that they are obliged to consume before the start of next season.
Not obliged to, but if they do, the the person who doesn't win is providing something good, giving something to the winner, right? Providing them with something that they really enjoy and saying, "Hey, here's a thing that now you can enjoy as well." And not purchase it for them, but just say, "Hey, here's a book, or here's a movie, or here's a podcast, or here's a TV show that I highly recommend." And then hopefully during the hiatus, that person can consume a bit of that media and then discuss it.
Okay, then.
Yeah, you like that?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, it's not too much on the line, but it's kind of a fun thing. So there you go. All right, let's do that. All right, I'm going to write down a number then. So we're going from Montauk Project to Ball Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to remember what Ball Lightning is. Oh, I remember what Ball Lightning is. Okay, all right, I've got it. I've written down my guess.
Have you now?
Yes. Have you?
I have, in fact, written a number.
Perfect. Well, then let us begin our walk from Montauk Project. Now, for those that didn't listen last week or have forgotten, perhaps, the Montauk Project is a conspiracy theory that alleges that there were a series of United States government projects conducted at Camp Hero, or Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, New York, for the purpose of developing psychological warfare techniques and exotic research, including time travel. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love last week's episode, because we get to go through all kinds of Star Trek and time travel, and this is just some of my favorite things. So guess what kind of book you'll be reading if I lose?
A Star Trek book, I guess.
Time travel, probably, but maybe Star Trek also. We'll see. So this is not a super long page. There are not a lot of things on this page.
This is true.
But there are some fun things. There's time travel is a link. Conspiracy theory, obviously. Faked Apollo moon landings is a link. Oh, boy. Philadelphia experiment is on here. The Philip K. Dick Film Festival. Wow. The Huffington Post is linked on here.
Huh.
So, gosh. So we're trying to get into a weather phenomenon, right?
Indeed we are.
Is there any kind of, do you think that there's a connection through something like conspiracy theory for this? Because if I recall correctly, or maybe UFO is linked on here. I remember something about like this being originally thought to be like supernatural.
Yes.
And there being some things about like, oh, a ghost was in our house and it was just ball lightning. So do you think going through something like conspiracy theory or UFO would be a path?
Yeah, those are the two that most caught my eye. It's also possible that like there's stuff happening at the Montauk Air Force Station, like as a weather observatory, but I don't know that factually. It's just pure speculation. So
yeah.
Between UFO and conspiracy theory, I'm probably more inclined to go with UFO, just because that is a not understood atmospheric phenomenon of sorts, which ball lightning is probably more related to than conspiracy theory, which is going to get into like, batshit crazy stuff like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. believes. So that kind
Robert
of
F. Kennedy Jr. believes in conspiracy theories. I don't know anything about this, but I believe you, I guess.
Well, read up. Friend.
Okay. Now I know what I'll be reading. Okay. So I do want to point out, actually, there's one more link on here that might be a good way to go, and that is electrical engineering. Because we're trying to get to a type of lightning, and electrical engineering is like about electricity. I don't know. What do you think?
I like it. In fact, I probably like that more than UFO, if only because we've been through UFO previously in getting to our friend the Flatwoods Monster.
That's true. And several other things, I think. I want to say that UFO has been used a number of times on our... Because didn't we have... We somehow got to Foo Fighter, right? At one point, which is like a UFO from back in the day or something along those lines. Anyway, we've been there. So, yeah, I'm good. Electrical engineering. Want to give it a go?
Let's go.
All right.
Baby.
Electrical engineering. which
All
makes
right.
sense because we need electric stuff. So,
And if you hover over electricity, there
Yeah.
is a picture which includes lightning. And
oh,
I feel like that's going to get us to lightning, if lightning is not, in fact, on this page.
right, which it may be. I mean, it probably is not. I do want to point out, I do have to take this moment to point out, or not, just to say, my father studied electrical engineering. That was his trade back in the day when he went to college and was an electrical engineer for his entire career. And so there you go. So Dad, we're on this page, and I'll see if you're on here. I don't know if they're gonna call you out specifically, but I do see IEEE, which is an organization he belonged to. Do you know about IEEE?
Oh, yes.
Jethro?
Well, my college roommate became an electrical engineer.
Really?
Indeed.
Well, that's interesting. My college roommate became a mechanical engineer.
There you go.
So there you go. So we've got all kinds of engineers walking around us.
I do see a link here to static electricity.
Which
could also be related. I mean, electricity itself is a good possibility, but static electricity I like. As one possibility.
Yeah, I saw conductor on here. I was wondering if there was going to be like a lightning rod or something potentially on this page.
I mean, is Benjamin Franklin on here?
Why would you want to go to Benjamin Franklin?
Because he was one of the first to engineer electricity into the key of a kite.
I see. That's not true, right? That's apocryphal, isn't it?
Is it?
I guess I thought that it was.
I mean, he was famously celebrated as like one of the fathers or discoverers of electricity.
Well, certainly yes, but I don't think he actually flew a kite.
We're gonna have to go down, because I mean, there certainly are a lot of apocryphal stories around our founding fathers went up, but I thought that one was actually legit.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, maybe we've got a down the rabbit hole episode coming up. We haven't done one of those in years now, and probably behind the paywall. But yeah, we maybe that's coming up between seasons here. We'll see.
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right. Have you found anything about lightning itself on here yet?
I have not yet, but it is a fairly substantial page, and I'm going through some of the history stuff here.
Okay.
Which has a lot of very interesting stuff here. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
Electricity, very cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool things on here. Yeah, and there's a lot of things being talked about too. I mean, I see links to things like television sets and noise canceling headphones and GPS, like all things powered by electricity. Desktop computers are on here. Video game consoles,
autonomous vehicles,
electromagnetic radiation.
There we go.
Is on here. So I guess I feel like there's going to be something about lightning or some kind of weather phenomenon on this page, right? I mean, it feels like there has to be.
It's certainly possible. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I know. I don't see it, but I feel like there should be. There's IEEE linked again. So there we go. Oh, lightning.
Where? What?
Oh no, it's lighting.
Are you under the tools and work section?
Yes.
I saw that as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I just saw it and just read the first half of the word as we so often do in our lives.
A little light comedy. Yeah,
there's lasers on there. Was it naval ship is on here? Goodness gracious. Wasn't there something about oceans, or didn't we somehow get through ocean stuff with ball lightning? Do you remember that?
Like St. Elmo's fire, maybe?
Does that have to do with oceans somehow?
Well, it's what the sailors saw. St. Elmo's fire.
Oh, that was related to sailors. Oh, I didn't realize that.
I'm basing this purely off of a monologue by Rob Lowe
I see.
To Demi Moore in the 1980 whatever film St. Elmo's Fire. So
sure,
it may not be an actual fact.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, Rob Lowe wouldn't read a script that wasn't true, would he?
I'm pretty sure he would. I think that's the definition of his job.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
By the way, there's, I should save this in case I lose, but here's a recommendation. There is, I don't remember the name of it, but on Netflix, there's like a small series. It's only like 3 episodes or something about like tropes from the movies.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's hosted by Rob Lowe.
Yes. I've seen some of that. Yeah.
It's delightful. Yeah.
I agree. Yes. So that's a recommendation from both of us. Go out and check that out because it is pretty cool.
Indeed. All right. So I got to say electricity and static electricity are probably my 2 favorite of the possible links that are on
those
this page.
Are your favorite, huh?
They are, in fact.
Yeah, I'm checking real quick. I didn't look at the photos, so I'm checking real quickly the little things under the photos to see if there's anything that makes sense, and I don't not seeing anything. Power pole, electronics. No. A transistor, perhaps? Yeah, no, I don't see anything. Now, I do see Tesla is linked on here. Now, the
Nikola
reason I bring
Tesla
that up,
or the automotive company?
Nikola Tesla. And the reason I bring that up is because a Tesla coil creates a situation that is very much like lightning. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not, I'm not saying that that's what we should definitely do, but it is there. But static electricity has got to be the way to go, right? I mean, that's what lightning is. I mean, lightning is static electricity.
All right, then. I like it.
All right, let's do it. Let's go to static electricity.
It is right there under the history section. There it is.
Now, do you understand static electricity, Jethro? You had to explain it. Could you do it?
I can talk about how there's a difference in charge between objects that manifests as electrons moving from A to B.
Well, but it can't be moving, right? Because it's static. It's not moving. So why is it called static instead of like current?
It's fair. It's a fair question.
Okay. Well, I'm going to look at the page then and just read what it says.
At least one of the pages, at least one of the surfaces has a high resistance to electrical current and is therefore an electrical insulator.
So it says here, the charge remains until it is able to move away by means of an electric current or electrical discharge. So there you go. So you've got the charge and it stays. So something gets charged, right? And that's like where you shuffle your feet, right? And then you get to a conductor like a doorknob and you touch it and bzz, there you go. You get that little static zap there. So, oh my gosh, this picture that is on here. Do you see this styrofoam peanuts picture?
I'm looking at the kid who's gone through the plastic slide and has like hair standing up.
Yeah, go down a little bit because there's a picture here of a cat that is covered in styrofoam peanuts.
That is a great picture.
A great picture, folks. If you have a little time, go to the static electricity page on Wikipedia and check out that photo because it is fantastic. All right, so there's got to be lightning has to be on here, right?
It absolutely is. There's a section called lightning under static discharge.
There it is. Now, is ball lightning on here?
That is an excellent question, and I am going to continue to sort through the page here.
Yeah, because it could be. I mean,
could be.
Static electricity is one of those things that I've always thought of as very dangerous, right? Because of the static discharge, I guess. And so, like, there's this little.
Please stop saying discharge. I beg you.
this anti-static wrist strap that they have on here, right? This little thing that you put around your wrist and then you clip it to the thing. Like, I remember my father using that when we were like doing stuff with electronics, and like because he was like, you don't want to fry the circuit board and whatever. And I just remember that being a thing, and I remember on like like on the space shuttle and space station and things like that. Like, it's very important that they don't build up static electricity, right?
Yeah.
Same with gas stations and things like that. And you can't, like, when you're filling a container with gasoline, you're not supposed to touch the thing to the spout, right? Because it can light and things like that. Are you familiar with any of this? Am I making any sense, or am I just losing my mind here?
No, I mean, both.
Is all of this right, or am I wrong about all this?
No, you are making sense to me, but I was transfixed in the see also section. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points in the see also section.
Is one of them ball lightning?
One of them is not ball lightning.
Okay.
But I will say,
but the other one is
2 of them. Yes. For 2 of the 7, the image that pops up when you do the preview, when you mouse over both electrostatics and the triboelectric effect, both of them have that picture of the cat with the styrofoam peanut, says the preview image.
Well, and can you blame them? If you could use that image, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's I hope whoever manages their social media will distribute that picture when this episode drops, because it's absolutely delightful.
Well, I'm the one that does that. I'll have to figure out a way to do that. I don't even know how would I even, I guess I can try to save the image and send it to myself or something. I'll figure it out. But that picture is great. I do love it. But
do you honestly not know how to save an image from the internet?
No, I do. So the issue is this. What I will need to do is save it to my phone, because that's where I post everything.
Yeah.
Well, right now I can't do that. Right now I can save it to my desktop. And so I just need to remember to do it. That's all there is to it. So it's not actually being able to do it. It's remembering to do it. That's important.
Okay. Well, there we go.
All right. So I don't see anything else on this page aside from lightning that I think makes any sense to go to. And I am pretty certain that if we get to that lightning page, ball lightning is going to be there.
I'm pretty sure that's how we got there the first time, but yeah, I agree.
I think it might be. So I think we're
lightning
going to main article lightning, right?
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so there we go. So we're headed to lightning, which is different than lighting. Let's be clear. And here we are. We're on the lightning page.
Also different from thunder. Lightning is a natural phenomenon formed by the occurrence of lightning bolts, which are electrostatic discharges through the atmosphere between 2 electrically charged regions, either both in the atmosphere with one in the atmosphere and on the ground.
Okay. Well, there you go. And lightning is what causes thunder, correct?
It is true.
Like lightning heats the air and the air moves very quickly, and then we get thunder, right? Am I right about that?
This is true. This is true.
Right.
And lightning and thunder, if they are happening at any significant distance from us, are perceived separately. The lightning being visible first because light moves faster than sound.
Right.
And then the thunder rolling in a little bit later.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then you're supposed to be able to count, right? And then figure out how many meters away it is, or miles away, or yards away, or something along those lines.
I prefer furlongs.
Furlongs away. Sure.
Yeah.
My car gets 40 rods to the hog's head, and that's the way I like it.
Exactly. Hey, Matt, would you like to know something interesting?
What is interesting, Jethro?
So in the preview section, by the way, there's a very long page, a very significant.
It is
page.
A very long page, yes.
But there is, in fact, a link to ball lightning in the introductory section.
In the introductory section? Oh my gosh, I went right past it.
In the second paragraph, the 3 main kinds of lightning are distinguished by where they occur, either inside a single thundercloud, intracloud, between 2 clouds, cloud to cloud, or between a cloud and the ground, cloud to ground.
That's not. These names are not very imaginative, but okay.
They're not, but unlike a lot of scientific names, they are completely understandable. Which
they are. Nice. They are. Yes.
Although, anyway, that paragraph has ball lightning.
And ball lightning's in there also.
But I do want to quickly scroll down to scientific study to see if our friend Benjamin Franklin is mentioned.
There you go.
I would figure that he is one of the people who is listed on here.
You might get our answer right away. Where did you see scientific study? You said that's where you're going?
I did. I do see under detection and monitoring, Benjamin Franklin is linked here,
Okay.
but it is referenced as a as having had a lightning bell installed in his house.
Ah, so that's a little different then.
Yeah, but there's no reference to a key and a kite.
Hmm.
You see it, right?
I don't see it. I'm looking at thunder right now because I thought it'd be interesting to learn more about thunder. But I believe you,
Mm-hmm.
and I like you.
All right, then.
So there you go.
That's very thoughtful and kind of you to say.
No problem.
All right,
But,
then. Shall
but we found our destination. So let's. Oh, I found the lightning bell. But here it is, ball lightning. So
ball lightning.
Venture on to ball lightning, which is what we were trying to find, and we have found it.
It is a rare and unexplained phenomenon described as luminescent spherical object that vary from pea size to several meters in diameter.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Which, of course, our listeners already knew if they listened to season 1, because we've been here before. And maybe they even knew it if they listened to the first episode of this season, because we probably read that same thing when we first started this whole thing.
I would be negligent to not point out that it is a phenomenon that is distinct from St. Elmo's fire.
Distinct. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. So there you go. Folks, that means that we have traveled from ball lightning to the Four Yorkshiremen sketch, to the Industrial Workers of the World, to the Emu War, to let's trim our hair in accordance with the socialist lifestyle, to Penna Palace, to Lernaean Hydra, to Fermi Paradox, to The Drag, which is a play, to the Mongolian Deathworm, to Princess Peach, to phenolphthalein, to Kubernetes, to the Montauk Project, and all the way back to ball lightning. It can be done, and we have done it. Now, tonight, this particular venture, this particular walk, took us 4 links, which is ties for our shortest of the season, and it's a return to form here with 4. Jethro, would you like to tell us your estimate first, or would you like me to do it?
My guess was 4.
Well, that's cool, because so was mine.
Ha ha!
Jethro, that means we've got a little bit of a race on our hands here.
We do, in fact.
We've got to go back to Montauk Project, and we've got to get...
back in time.
Now, are you doing that as the Kevin Nealon sketch from Saturday Night Live?
Back in time. Yeah. Probably subconsciously. I don't remember that sketch, but I'm sure it is.
Oh gosh, it was Michael J. Fox was hosting, and they did a sketch where he got into an elevator, and Kevin Nealon was just in the background going back in time.
Yeah, I'm sure that I've seen it as a young child and adopted it, but that is
I loved it.
Not a conscious memory that I have.
All right, so here we go, Jethro. We've got to get there again. We each have to pick an out of here to review our rules for the race. We can go through pages that we've been on before, but we cannot leave out of Montauk Project from electrical engineering this time. And we also cannot leave from any particular page from the same link. So where would you like to go out of Montauk Project?
I've got my link.
Okay, I've got mine too, but I'm afraid that it's going to be the same thing because mine
yours
is
UFO.
UFO, yeah, exactly. Yes. So we're not going to be able to take UFO. So we're gonna have to pick a different one. And I have mine.
Oh yeah, what is yours?
I'm going to go out through Philadelphia Experiment.
Okay. Well, if you're going to go out through Philadelphia Experiment, then I'm going to go out through UFO.
What? No, you can't. Neither of us can use UFO.
I can't? Oh, no. Okay. All right then. Well, if you're going to Philadelphia Experiment, then I'm going to go through Stranger Things.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to go through conspiracy theory. All right, great. Let's go.
No.
So
Stranger Things, indeed.
We're at our thing. So I'm on the Philadelphia experiment. Oh, look, here's UFO. I'm not.
You bastard.
I may not take that. Give me a second. I'll see if I can find something else. Well, it feels like going out through that would be kind of sort of cheating because we said we couldn't go out through that. So I'm going to see if I can find something else to go out through. But I might wind up going out through that anyways.
All right then.
You let me know when you have yours, because.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry about that.
Okay. Well, sometimes you wait. I feel like you.
I will tell you. Do I wait?
Sometimes.
Come on now.
Sometimes you like to.
I'm not a waiter.
This is a fascinating page, by the way. We should have gone out through Philadelphia Experiment in the first place. I love it. A lot of cool stuff on here. Oh, that's interesting. Diffused lighting camouflage is on here. As is Montauk Project. This links to Montauk Project, which isn't too
Montauk
surprising.
Project is on here as well, because if you recall from our discussion with Chris last episode, Stranger Things was originally based on the Montauk Project.
Yes, I do remember that. All right. Let's see here. Because I don't want to go out through
It feels
UFO.
like we're both stalling a little bit here.
No, I have one that I wanted to go out through, and I went past it because I was like, maybe I'll find something better, and now I'm just trying to find it again before I tell you that I have it, because I don't want to just be like, I have it, and then I not be able to find it. Where the heck did it go? Oh, here it is. I'm going to go out through electromagnetism.
Ooh, electromagnetism, are you?
Indeed, that is what I'm going to go.
Very interesting. I feel like that is very, very cool.
Now, that does mean that you need to come up with one, and you need to do that in the next 20 to 30 seconds or so here. I'm pouring myself another drink, which will help you.
That's fantastic. Well, while you do that, I'm going to first of all, Matt, if I have it, I should really compliment you on your excellent link finding skills. I think it's just great. And also, I just want to say that it's a pleasure working with you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pick something. Pick something.
I have picked something, and you're going to be very happy with what I have picked.
Tell me what it is. Just say it.
It's quite a pick.
Pick it. Say it.
Get ready.
What is it? Say it.
Are you ready for it?
Say
because
it now.
It's happening.
Now.
The thing that I picked is I'm going to go with because I don't have anything else. Matthew Modine.
There you go. Matthew Modine. That's a perfect idea. Oh my gosh. Matthew Modine. Wow. Well, you might find it. Okay. I am going to go to lightning.
Fuck. All right, then. If you're going to go to lightning, then I am going to go.
Was Matthew Modine in the Lightning movie?
Probably, maybe.
Could be.
I'm trying to find somebody who was in St. Elmo's Fire.
Sure, yeah,
but
not Matthew Modine.
I suspect that you. No, he was not, but he was a star of the same era.
Yes, for sure, sure.
It's certainly possible. Although, if you're going to lightning, then I think we all know how this is going to end. So I will go ahead.
We do,
and
I will go ahead. Keep looking if you want to look. I'll look on this page. Maybe ball lightning's on this page.
Now you're being generous because you know you're going to win.
No, I'm being generous because I think ball lightning could be on this page, and I want to see if I can find it. And just go straight out. Right, well, just go straight to ball lightning.
So, what did Matthew Modine star in that somebody from St. Elmo's Fire also starred in?
Oh gosh, oof! I don't know that I could name a Matthew Modine movie off the top of my head. It's been a long time since I've seen him in stuff. I think
Cutthroat Island.
He was
in The Dark Knight Rises.
Matthew Modine's in The Dark Knight Rises,
and the band played on.
Who is he in The Dark Knight Rises?
He was Peter Foley.
What?
He was Peter Foley.
Okay, he's in Wild Things, I think, which gets you to Denise Richards, which gets you to Charlie Sheen.
I tell you what.
Anyways, I'm going to go out through lightning, ball lightning.
Yeah. Well, Wild Things gets me to a lot of places.
Yeah, sure
all right. I'm going to click on and the band played on.
All right. Oh, that's the Steve Martin movie. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Steve Martin is in that movie.
Is he?
He is.
I don't recall him.
I'm on lightning, and I'm going to go to ball lightning from here.
All right, then I am going to go to gay bathhouses.
Okay. Well, that's it. I have won our race, which means I win the episode, which means you have to give me a recommendation of something to watch, listen to, or read that I will then do before our next season begins. And I will give you a moment to think about that.
Oh, I have to do that right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to come up with it on the spot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, think about stuff that you like. What have you been reading? What have you been listening to? What have you been watching lately? I need something new to watch. What should I watch?
I watched stupid, boring stuff.
Oh, come on. It's not stupid or boring.
Have you seen this little show called Black Mirror?
Yes. I'm in the middle of the current season of Black Mirror, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, the episode with Annie Duke, season 6, episode 1, I loved with a vigorous passion. She's from Schitt's Creek.
Annie Duke?
Is that her name?
I don't think so.
What's her name from Schitt's Creek?
See, now you're putting me on the Annie Murphy. Annie Murphy. That's
Annie Murphy. There we go. Yep. Why did I call her Annie Duke?
I don't know. I don't know who Annie Duke is.
Patty Duke.
That's a totally different person.
Right,
no, I like that first episode very much as well. Folks, if you haven't seen the first episode of Black Mirror and you're into kind of I guess I'd call that black humor, actually, I think, in that particular case. Right? Wouldn't you?
Indeed. And there's a celebrity cameo in there that I don't want to spoil, but that was utterly delightful for me. That
yes.
Was the cherry on the sundae.
Annie Duke is, see, you kept saying Annie Duke, and I knew that was a person. She's a professional poker player.
That is correct.
That's who Annie Duke is. That's different. That's not Annie Murphy, but yes. There you go.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a great book that she's in, Positively Fifth Street. If you haven't read Positively Fifth Street and you like poker, highly recommend. So what else you got for me? What else you got? You got any podcasts? Right. You got anything else?
All right. So I've got two things for you. One is a podcast that just kind of I was doing some furniture refinishing in my garage because I got some cabinets for free on Facebook for my basement and was sanding them and refinishing them to put in my furnish my basement now that my basement reconstruction work is done.
Okay.
And because I was staining the furniture, my hands were all my gloved hands, I should say, were covered with furniture polish and whatnot. So I couldn't change my podcast. So the sort of autoplay feature, just pick something. And it was one of those times where a podcast will feature another podcast in its channel. So it was a podcast that I was not subscribed to that was featured in like the 99% Invisible podcast. But now I've forgotten the name of it. But it's called The Last Archive.
Okay, and it's The Last Archive.
And it is from Pushkin Industries, which is Malcolm Gladwell's outfit. But the most recent episode from the current season has to do with a guy named, and I'm going to mess up his name as well.
Awesome. It's so specific.
Ray Lewis.
I love it. Ray Lewis from the Baltimore Ravens.
No,
sure.
That's definitely not it.
Nope.
Hold on a second here. Now I'm embarrassing
this is great.
myself.
I love that you're looking this all up.
Last Archive. But the episode was so great that I was like, oh, I have to go subscribe to this episode and go back to the beginning. Where is it? Damn it. Player Piano. There it is. Raymond Scott is the name of so it's the story of this guy named Raymond Scott, who was a composer who composed songs that I guarantee you that you've heard, but you don't know this guy's name.
Well, don't tell me too much about this because I want to listen to it and be entertained as well.
So he was a guy who was a composer in the early half of the 20th century.
Sure.
And tell me if you recognize this song. Dun 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 ba 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 da ba da 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 ba
Oh yeah,
ba ba da
sure.
ba da da.
That's every time Factory goes on in somebody's brain.
Yeah, in Looney Tunes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wrote that song.
Okay.
And he was a mechanical genius, and he created a machine, like a physical machine that could create music spontaneously. So like all the stuff that AI is doing now that people are freaked out about, he created a manual machine in the 50s and 60s that could do that. That like Motown Records paid him to create. And people have rediscovered that machine and are trying to get it to work again, but they can't get it to work because it's too complex and nobody knows how it was done. But yeah,
that is fascinating.
Fascinating episode. And also I linked in the chat, I'm a tremendous fan. I don't do a ton of fiction. Okay. And this is no exception, just because I find reality far too interesting. But there's this guy named Robert Sapolsky, who is a scientist who's won like the MacArthur Genius Grant and whatnot. And this is a lecture, Biology of Humans at Our Best and Worst, that a lecture that he gave. And it's like an hour and 17 minutes or so on the YouTubes, but he's a very funny guy and an incredibly brilliant scientist, and speaks about science with a clarity and a whimsy that I wish more of our popular scientists had. But he's one of, if not my favorite public intellectuals, and I can't recommend him highly enough. Robert Sapolsky.
Did he write a book? Behave. He wrote Behave. Yes.
So
yes, I've read Behave.
This lecture is basically like a summary of Behave. But if you've read Behave, then there you are. You've got.
I have. Excellent. Well, there you go.
He's got a book coming out in October on free will.
Does he? Well, he talks. Or was that another book that or maybe that was a podcast?
No. I mean, like if you read Behave, it's very clear.
It talks about it, right? It talks about free will and the lack thereof.
Exactly. So in the October book is exclusively grinding the bones of the last remnants of free will.
Got it.
In the ground. So
got it. Yeah, I learned about him through Radiolab. He was they were talking about his book on Radiolab, and then that's why I read that book. So there you go. So folks, there's some great suggestions for you as well. Radiolab, if you haven't listened to Radiolab, you can listen to that. I'm going to give you a couple as well, Jethro, just because I've been listening to some new podcasts lately myself. And one of the things that you said, you had to subscribe and go back and listen from the beginning. I'm always so tentative to listen from the beginning of a podcast, especially if I'm like well into it when I listen to the first episode, because I'm like, what if they changed their format? What if the hosts are different? What if there's something different about it? So I found a podcast that's called Good Job Brain. It is a pub trivia podcast, essentially. And they do like quizzes, but they also like talk about different trivia stuff that they've learned. They talk about mnemonics that you can use to remember particular things. And it's great. And it started in 2012, and I just found it. So I've started listening from the beginning, and I'm just like, they're talking about things from 10 years ago as if they're current, and it's so weird to listen to, but it's really great. I highly recommend it. I found that because I was listening to a podcast called Escape This Podcast, which is a podcast in which the creators write an escape room, and it's kind of a mix of like role-playing and escape room, and then they bring guests on, and then they have to find their way through this escape room that's just all auditory, essentially. And I found that because I listened to a podcast that was recommended to me by Dave Foreman called Lateral, which features Tom Scott, who is a YouTube personality, I guess, and it is all about they are given problems that require lateral thinking, and then they try to solve those problems. So Lateral, Escape This Podcast, and Good Job Brain are all podcasts that I can recommend because they're fascinating to listen to. And if you like what you're listening to here and you like kind of learning new stuff, those are all great podcasts. So thank you, Dave Foreman, for starting me down that path. Again, we're kind of coming full circle here, but all things that I can recommend for folks to listen to. And the other thing I want to recommend on Lateral, they had a person on who has a Instagram that's called Depths of Wikipedia. And I think we should try to get her as a guest next season because I think that she would love our podcast. Because
so I follow her on Twitter.
There you go.
And I believe that she is from Ann Arbor.
Well, that's even better. Jethro, you could actually meet this person.
Indeed.
You should try to track her down. I mean, not actually track her down. Just send her an email or something. Don't actually try to like find her physically, please.
Yeah. So a student at the University of Michigan when she started. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So this is great. This has been a fantastic season. This has been a lot of fun. I can't believe I won the last 3 in a row here. If I had just won one more, we could have tied this season. But Jethro, you won 8-6. Well done. And thanks for doing this again. Thanks for doing another season. And should we do another one? What do you think? Season 9?
I feel like we're, who stops after 8 seasons? I feel like
nobody.
We should keep going.
It doesn't make any sense to stop after 8. So let's do it. We'll do a 9th season. No promises right now as to when you'll hear that, folks. But I'm going to say it'll be before 2024. That's the promise I'm going to make to you. I don't know exactly when before 2024, but if you're subscribed, you'll get a notification. If you're not, subscribe. And
Good deal.
And we'll see you in a little bit. Take care, everybody.
And now, a special preview of Drunkard's Walk, Season 9. Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here for Drunkard's Walk. This is our very first episode of Season 9, so hopefully you're going to enjoy it. A big thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Harmio for our artwork, and of course, a big thank you to our guest. Make sure you tune in to Season 9 to hear the exciting conclusion. Have a great summer.